Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are going to unpack a behavior that literally every single one of us engages in, yet honestly, almost no one truly understands. We're going to reveal the ancient, hidden mechanics behind why we simply cannot look away from drama. I mean, think about it. Why does gossip spread faster than facts? Why do celebrity scandals rack up millions of views effortlessly, while, educational content has to fight tooth and nail for every single click? And why does your brain instantly snap to attention the absolute moment someone leans in and whispers, "Hey, don't tell anyone this"? Well, the answer isn't because humans are inherently bad or flawed. Actually, it's entirely by design. Today, we're exploring the evolutionary blueprint of gossip and how understanding this deeply ingrained instinct can actually help you take back control of your attention.
Okay, let's dive right into this. I want you to picture a really common scenario. Imagine you're walking down the street and you pass by two strangers having a conversation. You don't know them, they don't know you. But as you walk by, you catch just a tiny snippet of their chat. Which type of conversation is going to instantly grab your attention? For most of us, we don't even consciously think about it before our ears perk up and our heads subtly turn.
Let's contrast these two statements. On one hand, someone's stating a perfectly mundane fact. The weather is nice today. Yawn, right? On the other hand, a whispered secret. Did you hear what happened to him? Without a doubt, our brains instantly crave that juicy secret. It feels almost magnetic. But here is the absolutely crucial thing to remember as we go through this explainer. You don't gravitate toward that secret because you're some bad, nosy person. No way. You're doing it because of incredibly powerful ancient programming deep within your brain. Your brain was fundamentally designed to pay attention to other people's lives.
Section 1. The Ancient Survival Tool. Let's see where this all started.
To really grasp why we gossip, we have to travel back in time, about 50,000 years back. Strip away literally all of our modern technology. There's no internet. There are no newspapers. There's absolutely zero social media. Humans lived exclusively in these small, tight-knit tribes. In that kind of harsh, unforgiving environment, the most valuable information you could possibly acquire was not about the weather. It was about people. Social information was, quite literally, a matter of life or death.
In that environment, the crucial question boiled down to simply this: who could be trusted? In a small tribe, knowing the character and actions of your peers was everything. Who shared their food, who was totally selfish, who was known for stealing, or who was potentially dangerous. Imagine going on a high-stakes hunt with someone who had a secret history of abandoning their teammates when things got tough, or trusting someone who is secretly hoarding resources behind your back. A single bad decision about who to trust could easily cost you your life. Because of this, our ancestors were constantly exchanging social information. What we so quickly dismiss today as toxic gossip was once your most critical survival toolkit.
Section 2. Your brain's social software. Let's see how this builds into our modern habits.
Humans are for sure one of the most intensely social species on the planet. Over millennia, we developed what we can basically call social software. Think of it as your brain's automatic background processing that is constantly tracking human relationships, status changes, and social patterns. Who is allied with whom, who is gaining status, who's losing influence. This software is always running in the background. And this is exactly why reality television, office politics, and online beefs are so incredibly gripping. When you're binge-watching a reality show, your brain isn't just being nosy, it's actively running its ancient social software, trying to map out the social world. Every story of triumph, betrayal, or embarrassment is teaching your brain something about human behavior, even if that specific lesson like, who got voted off a tropical island, isn't actually going to save your life today.
Section 3. The dopamine reward loop. Now that we know the evolutionary why, let's biologically deconstruct why craving this information feels completely irresistible in the moment. Have you ever noticed how physically exciting a really good piece of gossip feels, like a literal rush? Well, that's your biology at work. When you hear surprising or emotionally charged information, your brain actually rewards your curiosity. It releases dopamine, which is the chemical directly linked to motivation and learning. This creates a really powerful repeating loop. First, your curiosity is triggered. Second, you acquire the information. Third, boom, you get a dopamine reward. This right here is why it is so incredibly hard to stop doom scrolling through drama online. Every new piece of information promises another tiny hit of dopamine. Modern social media platforms understand this extremely well, and their algorithms exploit this exact ancient loop to keep us all hooked.
Because of this dopamine loop, stories about conflict, betrayal, and controversy are always going to capture human attention far better than ordinary, everyday events. Your brain is reacting exactly as evolution designed it to. It prioritizes the highly emotionally charged social data because, historically speaking, that's the data that kept you alive. Consequently, emotion spreads like wildfire, way faster than accuracy ever could.
Section 4. The negativity survival bias. Now, what's really interesting is why the news we crave is so often negative.
Let's look at another comparison. Imagine hearing these two pieces of ancient news. First one, the tribe found fresh fruit. Second one, there's a dangerous hunter stealing food. Which one deserves your immediate, undivided attention? Obviously, the dangerous one. Missing the good news about the fruit might be a bummer, mildly disappointing for sure. But missing the bad news about the dangerous hunter, that could literally be deadly. Our ancestors survived because they paid far more attention to danger than they did to comfort.
It all really comes down to this powerful truth. Your brain naturally gives more attention to threats than to peace. And this ancient threat detection bias, it hasn't gone anywhere. It's still running right inside your head right now. And this connects directly to why modern social media feeds are absolutely dominated by scandals, harsh criticism, and endless conflict. The algorithms service what we instinctively click on, and guys, we instinctively click on threats.
Section 5. Taking back your attention. So, we're wired to crave it, we get a chemical reward for it, and we're biased toward the negative. How do we fix this? First off, we have to recognize the severe mismatch between our ancient brains and our modern reality. Ancient gossip had a clear, highly productive purpose. It facilitated cooperation and ensured safety within a small tribe. Modern gossip, however, operating on these massive digital scales, often serves a very different, very harmful purpose. It's frequently used to shame people, spread false information, destroy reputations, and just create entirely unnecessary conflict. We are using a tool meant for tribal survival in a world of endless digital noise, and it is seriously misfiring. Because our brains react before checking if information is true, rumors just fly totally out of control. But understanding this mechanism gives you a massive advantage. You now have the power to pause before you believe, before you share, or before you react.
You really need to internalize this. Your attention is one of your greatest resources, and it is finite. Every single minute you spend consuming meaningless drama or diving down a rabbit hole of internet conflict is a minute you are not spending learning, creating, or growing. What you repeatedly consume ultimately shapes the exact way you think.
Now, this doesn't mean you have to turn into a robot and never enjoy a fun social story ever again. It simply means becoming highly intentional and aware of why these stories attract you in the first place. To help you take back control, here is a really tactical pause and pivot checklist. Before you consume or share that next piece of drama, just ask yourself these 3 things. Number 1, is this helping me? Number 2, will this even matter next week? And number 3, am I feeding my true curiosity, or am I just feeding my biological impulses? The more intentional you become with these simple questions, the more control you gain over your time and ultimately your life.
Which brings us to the conclusion of this explainer. The challenge we face today isn't about completely eliminating our natural curiosity. It's about directing that ancient curiosity toward ideas that make us wiser, instead of things that just make us more distracted. Because the information you choose to consume today absolutely becomes the person you become tomorrow. So I want to leave you with this provocative question to reflect on. If your brain naturally craves social information and gossip, what kind of information is actually worth feeding it today? Think about your own habits, take back control of your attention, and stay curious, but always be intentional about what actually earns that curiosity.